The Detroit Lions lose to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 20-16, and they got absolutely killed. They got absolutely killed. Start off, Ben Johnson, worst play calling I've ever seen. The guy looks like the best offensive coordinator of all time, and then he just does this. Jared Goff probably has his worst performance as a Detroit Lion in his career. The offense continues to struggle. Shout out to the defense, specifically Aiden Hutchinson, man. I had to put this on. I don't put this on very much. I should, more. The guy's an absolute dog. We all know that. One of the best defensive ends in the league, turning into, if not the best defensive end in the league. Had 4.5 sacks today. Should have had 5, but they gave a half a sack to Levi Onwuzurike. Should have had 2 forced fumbles as well. They only gave him 1. He only needed 5.5 to break the record. He should have had 5. There's probably another time he could have got a sack as well. This is unbelievable, man. This is gonna be hard to talk about. This recording this night. I'm watching the Bears and Texans game as well. I'm making this, so if I keep looking down, that's why. But we lose 20-16 to the Tampa Bay Bucs. Terrible game. That's all. Let's check out the stats, man. Mayfield, 12 for 19, 185, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. I thought we did pretty well against Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield has got the scrambling ability, absolutely juked out Malcolm Rodriguez on one of his carries on the day. But I thought we held our own versus him. That's just my opinion. Some people think that he absolutely killed us. I don't know. I thought we held our own. Jared Goff, the stats might not seem like the worst day of his career, but oh man, you watched that game and it was. This was a game that you cannot go off of stats for Jared Goff. 34 for 55. He threw 55 passes. I guarantee that is the most passes he's ever thrown as a Detroit Lion, probably even in his career. Unbelievable. If you throw 55 passes in a game, I feel like you're guaranteed to lose. That means that you're absolutely getting manhandled and you have to throw the ball. And we weren't even getting manhandled this game in terms of scoring. Points allowed. We weren't, and we just decided to keep throwing the ball. 34 for 55. 2 picks. Over 300 passing yards. 0 touchdowns. Terrible. Rewatch the game. I'm going to rewatch it this week at some point. And it's going to be tough. Jared Goff was brutal. He's been pretty brutal, honestly, for these past 2 games. I thought he played not very good last week either. Obviously, last week he played better than this week. He was dreadful this week. But he'll turn around. One of the better quarterbacks in the league. Our rushing defense was very good again. Baker Mayfield was our leading rusher. 5 for 34 and a rushing touchdown. Gibbs had 13 for 84. The receiving game, Chris Godwin, watching the game, it didn't seem like he ate us alive, but the stats sheet, he did. 7 for 117 and a touchdown. St. Brown had 11 receptions for 119, so he bounced back. Matter of fact, let's take a look more at the Lions stats than the Tampa Bay stats here. David Montgomery, 11 carries, 35 yards, 3.2 per carry, 1 touchdown. Alright, let me talk about the running game here real quick, and Ben Johnson. I don't understand what we're doing. Ben Johnson, I love him. Best offensive coordinator we've had in a very long time, if not ever. But I don't understand sometimes what he does. You get away from what is working very well. You get away from stuff that gets you points most of, if not every single drive. Last week, Jared Goff barely had to throw the ball unless we had to. We ran the ball through their guts, specifically in the second half. This week, they did not hardly use David Montgomery at all the first half and barely used him in the second half. Gibbs, they barely used him in the first half. More Montgomery. And Montgomery looked like Barry Sanders last week in the fourth quarter. I just don't understand sometimes. Gibbs had a good day overall. Didn't really seem like it during the game, but stat sheet he did. St. Brown bounced back. Jameson Williams, 5 for 79, still had a very good day. He's definitely turned into that guy. Obviously, he's got to keep it up. But I do trust Jameson Williams now that he can, in terms of production, fill the void for Josh Reynolds. But I'll talk about Josh Reynolds here in a minute. David Montgomery was third in our team, 4 for 35. Raymond, 3 for 27. Gibbs, 7 for 22. Oh, wow. I did not know Gibbs had that many catches. All right. Sione Vacchi had a fake punt catch. I believe we were at our own 19. We decided to go for a fake punt. I believe it was on 4th and 12, and we completed it. Sione Vacchi, most risky fake punt we've ever done. No question. Jack Fox with the dime. It honestly should have been a touchdown. Sione Vacchi should have just ran up straight up the field instead of just making like a slant cut. Instead, he decided to just make a slant cut, which, got us a first down on the fake punt, but he could just ran straight and would have had a touchdown. But good job by Jack Fox again. He's third-string quarterback right now. If for some ever reason Goff and Hooker go down the same game, they better put Fox in. Sam Laporta, quiet day, 2 for 13. Tim Patrick getting involved a little bit, 2 for 12. He was actually out there quite a bit. Now, this is also where I have a major complaint. Last drive of the game, alright? Defense came up with a huge stop. Derek Barnes, shout out to Derek Barnes, man, flowers. Derek Barnes, in the Tampa Bay game in the divisional round last year, got the game-sealing interception. In this game, Derek Barnes, on 3rd down, Buccaneers made an excellent play call. Derek Barnes spiked the ball to get the ball back. Shout out to Derek Barnes, man. But Tim Patrick, on that drive, we had, I believe, 30 seconds left, 1 timeout. Tim Patrick was not on the field for that whole last drive. Nowhere to be found. He is the biggest guy on the field. I don't even think Sam Laporta was on the drive that much. It was Raymond, it was Tom Kennedy, it was Saint, and it was J-Mo. No Laporta. No Tim Patrick. 2 of the biggest pass catchers on your team. Now this is what gets me the most with Ben Johnson in this game. You see him on the thumbnail. I had to put him on the thumbnail. There's no way you couldn't. On the final play of the game, I believe it's 4th and 12. Or it's 4th and 10 or 4th and 12. We decided to obviously go for it. We didn't have a chance. But we were at their 30. Alright? And final play of the game, take a shot to the end zone, throw it up there. Patrick or Laporta, of course, should have been out there, but no. So, just throw it to J-Mo or something like that. Saint. And they decided to do a lateral play. They decided to do a play where they throw it for a first down and start lateraling it. What are we doing? So you mean to tell me we're going to try to lateral it over trying to just take a shot to the end zone? I don't understand that whatsoever. Tom Kennedy, I don't even know why he's getting elevated. He took like 2 or 3 kick returns today for nothing, essentially. I don't know why he keeps getting elevated. It has to be because of special teams, because he's doing nothing on offense. Defensive side of the ball, shout out to Brian Branch, probably our best defensive back, had a pick. Hutch, again, had 4.5 sacks. Shout out to Hutch. Can't imagine Marcus Davenport was in this game, but no. Of course, he was hurt, so he was out. If Marcus Davenport was in this game, probably would have had 6 sacks, at least. Everybody else on the defensive side of the ball played pretty well. I thought Terran Arnold was probably the guy who struggled the most on the defensive side of the ball. I still thought it improved from last week, though. Levi Orange-Enrique, like I said earlier, had a half a sack. Jake Bates had a phenomenal day. 3 for 3. Made an extra point as well. He should have made 2 more field goals, so he should have been 5 for 5. And this one was on Dan Campbell. End of the half, they decided to... Alright, so St. Brown, I believe, caught an 8-yard pass. It was going to be 4th down. Time was ticking. We had around 12 seconds. It was 3rd down. We had 12 seconds left. So Goff and the offense was going to spike it to get the field goal unit out. So they were going to spike it, and the field goal unit decided to go out there at the same time. Their field goal unit was running on the field while the offense was trying to spike the ball. So the offense spiked the ball while special teams was on the field, and that resulted in a 5-yard penalty delay game, ended the half. We didn't get any points out of it. Should have got a touchdown, didn't even get a field goal. It was unbelievable. That part was on Dan Campbell. He said in his press conference. Dan Campbell, I really liked what he said in his press conference. He put all the blame on him. Now, it shouldn't have been. Dan Campbell did not have a good game by any means either, but there's a lot of other positions, Jared Goff, Ben Johnson, that had terrible games as well. But Dan Campbell had to get some of it as well. So that's how you love MCDC, man. He always, puts the blame on himself and takes, that type of stuff. So shout out to Dan Campbell. Also, Jake Bates should have had a chance to get a 59-yard field goal. Instead, we decided to punt it. Don't understand that either. I was kind of irate at that. It's not like Jake Bates. It's like Michael Badgley or something where he can't kick from over 55. No disrespect to Michael Badgley. That's just the truth. And we decided to punt it instead. At least give him a shot. We weren't losing by a touchdown at the point. We were losing by 4. So if Jake Bates would have missed it, it would have been that big of a deal because if they scored a field goal, it'd still be a one-possession game. If they were already winning by a touchdown and he missed the field goal, and they scored a field goal, then yeah, I'd be definitely wouldn't agree with it. But we should at least attempt it. See what Bates can do with his leg on the Detroit Lions. So don't really like that. Jack Fox had a nice day punting. And yeah, man. Let's take a look at here as well, I guess. Because why not? Let's start doing this, I think, as well. Mayfield, or total yards, 216 to the Lions, 463. So we doubled the amount of yards that they had, and we still lost. And you're going to say, oh, so the offense did play very well. No, absolutely not. No, don't even go off of it like that. But that's just crazy to me how we had that much more yards, and we didn't win the game. Passing yards, they had 146 to 324. Rush yards, 70 for the Bucs compared to the 139 for the Lions. So we outscored them on every single stat here. And on yards per play. They had 4.6, we had 5.6. How that has to be something that's never been done. You outscore them on every single statistic right here by almost double on total yards and double on passing yards. And you still beat them on rushing yards and yards per play. And you still lose. Not by 1 or anything, but you lose by 4. First downs, 14 for the Bucs to 25 for the Lions. Third down efficiency, 2 for 10, and then 7 for 17. Fourth down efficiency, 0 for 0, 3 for 5. Total plays, 47 to 83. 5 sacks allowed for the Bucs. 0 sacks allowed for us. We should have allowed a couple sacks, though, because Jared Goff was being careless with the footballers. Probably should have allowed 2 or 3. 5 punts for the Bucs, 2 punts for us. 4 for 35 on penalties for the Bucs. We had 4 for 71. That's really what cost us on the defensive side of the ball, but I still thought they played very well. Fumbles lost, 0-0. Baker Mayfield threw a pick and Goff threw 2. Time possession, 26 minutes and 7 seconds to the Detroit Lions, 33-53. So we essentially, on every statistic here, beat them. Besides penalties and what? That's it. So you mean to tell me that we beat them on every single statistic here besides penalty yards, and we lost the game? Let's end this video, man. It's a long one. Lions lose 20-16. Unbelievable bad game for Jared Goff and Ben Johnson. There's got to be some stuff that changes. There has to be some stuff. Tim Patrick needs to be signed to the 53-man roster. We need to keep 5 receivers on the roster. He better be used more in those type of situations. And there's got to be a lot to change, man. There has to be stuff to change. One pride, go Lions.